Have your legs and feet been trying to tell you something? Maybe your feet feel colder than they used to. Maybe your legs get tired after a short walk. Perhaps you've noticed tingling in your toes, cramps at night, or a heavy feeling in your legs that wasn't there a few years ago. At first, most people don't think much about these changes. They blame age. They blame the weather. They blame being less active than they used to be. And sometimes those explanations are partly true. But here's what many seniors don't realize. Your legs and feet are often among the first places where circulation changes begin to show up, because they're the furthest parts of the body from your heart. When blood flow becomes less efficient, your feet may notice before the rest of you does. And that's important, because healthy circulation affects far more than comfort. It affects how easily you walk, how quickly you recover from activity, how steady you feel on your feet, and ultimately, how independently you're able to live your daily life. After all, most people over 60 aren't trying to run marathons. They're trying to do something much more important. Walk through the grocery store without feeling exhausted. Take a stroll around the neighborhood. Travel with family. Play with grandchildren. Enjoy everyday life without constantly worrying about their legs and feet. The good news? Certain vitamins play important roles in supporting the systems responsible for healthy circulation, healthy blood vessels, healthy nerves, and healthy aging overall. Now, these vitamins aren't miracle cures, and they're not substitutes for medical care, but they may help support the body in ways many people overlook. In today's video, we'll count down 7 vitamins that may help support healthy blood flow to your legs and feet after age 60. Some of them are well known. Others might surprise you. And the number 1 vitamin on today's list is one that many seniors have never even heard about, despite growing interest in its potential role in healthy aging and vascular health. So if you've been dealing with cold feet, tired legs, nighttime cramps, slow recovery, or tingling toes, stay with us, because one of these 7 vitamins might be exactly the one you've been overlooking. Let's begin with number 7. Number 7. Vitamin E. Have you ever wondered why your feet seem colder now than they did just a few years ago? One vitamin that often comes up in conversations about healthy circulation is vitamin E. While it may not be as famous as vitamin C or vitamin D, vitamin E has long been valued for its role in helping protect cells from oxidative stress, including the delicate cells that line your blood vessels. Now, that might not sound very exciting, but think about it this way. Your circulatory system is like a vast network of highways. Every second of every day, blood is traveling through those highways carrying oxygen and nutrients to every part of your body, including your legs, including your feet. And as we age, keeping those pathways healthy becomes increasingly important. That's one reason so many older adults begin paying attention to circulation after 60. It often starts with something subtle. You sit down to watch television in the evening. The room feels comfortable. Everyone else seems perfectly warm. Yet your feet feel cold. Maybe you slip on an extra pair of socks. Maybe you tuck your feet under a blanket. Maybe you simply ignore it. After all, cold feet seem like a minor annoyance. But over time, many seniors notice that it becomes more frequent. Not just during winter, not just at night, but throughout the year. The truth is that cold feet can have many different causes. Everything from room temperature to medical conditions can play a role. But healthy circulation is often part of the conversation, because your feet are located at the very end of your circulatory system. They're among the furthest points from your heart. And when circulation becomes less efficient, the feet are often one of the first places where people notice a change. That's why nutrients that support vascular health continue to receive attention. Vitamin E is one of them. In addition to its antioxidant role, vitamin E helps support the health of blood vessel walls as part of a balanced diet and healthy lifestyle. Of course, no vitamin can instantly transform circulation overnight. That's not how the body works. But small improvements in nutrition can add up over time. And when it comes to healthy aging, those small improvements matter. Fortunately, vitamin E can be found in foods such as almonds, sunflower seeds, spinach, avocados, and hazelnuts. simple foods that are already available in most grocery stores. But cold feet aren't the only complaint many seniors have about their legs. For some people, the bigger challenge appears when a simple walk through the store starts feeling more exhausting than it used to. And that's where our next vitamin comes in. Number 6. Vitamin B1. Vitamin B1, also known as thiamine, is often associated with energy. And for many adults over 60, that's exactly why it deserves attention. Because one of the most frustrating changes that comes with aging isn't necessarily pain. It's fatigue, the kind that seems to appear out of nowhere. Imagine this. You drive to Walmart on a quiet weekday morning. You grab a shopping cart. You head inside to pick up a few things. Nothing unusual. Nothing strenuous. Just another routine errand. But halfway through the store, something feels different. Your legs start feeling heavier. Your pace slows down. You find yourself looking for a place to sit down for a minute. Not because you're sick. Not because you've done anything difficult. But because your legs simply don't seem to have the endurance they once had. For many seniors, this experience feels surprisingly familiar. And it can be frustrating. Because mentally, you still feel capable. You still want to stay active. You still want to go places. But your body doesn't always cooperate the way it used to. That's where vitamin B1 enters the picture. Vitamin B1 plays an important role in helping the body convert food into usable energy. Every step you take requires energy. Every movement of your muscles requires energy. Even your heart depends on a constant supply of energy to keep working efficiently. Think of vitamin B1 as part of the system that helps keep the engine running. Without enough fuel, even the best car can't perform properly. The same principle applies to the body. When energy production becomes less efficient, everyday activities can start feeling more demanding than they should. And because your legs are carrying your body weight all day long, they're often among the first places where you notice the difference. Many older adults respond by becoming less active, which is understandable. If walking feels tiring, avoiding long walks seems logical. But here's the challenge. The less active we become, the harder it often becomes to maintain strength, stamina, and mobility over time. That's why many healthy aging experts encourage older adults to keep moving whenever possible. Not necessarily with intense exercise, just regular movement, regular walks, regular activity, and proper nutrition to support those efforts. Vitamin B1 can be found in foods such as whole grains, beans, lentils, pork, peas, and fortified cereals. Simple foods that can help support the body's natural energy-producing processes. But walking endurance isn't the only thing that changes with age. Many people notice something else. A small cut, a minor scrape, a simple bruise, and suddenly it seems to take much longer to heal than it did years ago. And that's where vitamin C comes into the story. Number 5. Vitamin C. Vitamin C is probably one of the most recognizable vitamins in the world. Most people associate it with immune health. Cold season arrives, and vitamin C is suddenly everywhere. But what many seniors don't realize is that vitamin C is also connected to something they may notice much more often: the body's ability to repair itself. Have you ever looked down at your leg and wondered, how is that bruise still there? Maybe you bumped into the corner of a table. Maybe you scraped your shin while working in the yard. Maybe you got a small cut while pruning roses or carrying groceries. Nothing serious. Nothing that seemed worth worrying about. Yet weeks later, the mark is still there. For many adults over 60, healing simply doesn't happen as quickly as it once did. A scratch that used to disappear in days now seems to linger. A bruise takes longer to fade. Even after the skin heals, recovery often feels slower. Of course, aging plays a role. The body isn't the same at 70 as it was at 30. But nutrition also becomes increasingly important. And that's where vitamin C enters the picture. One of vitamin C's most important jobs is helping the body produce collagen. Collagen is a protein that acts like a support structure throughout the body. It's found in the skin. It's found in connective tissues. And it's also an important component of healthy blood vessels. Think of collagen as part of the framework that helps hold everything together. Without proper maintenance, Even the strongest structure gradually weakens over time. The same principle applies inside the body. Healthy blood vessels help deliver oxygen and nutrients where they're needed most, including the tissues in your legs and feet. That's one reason vitamin C remains an important nutrient for healthy aging. Now, vitamin C isn't going to erase every bruise or instantly speed up recovery. No vitamin works that way. But supporting the body's natural repair systems becomes increasingly important as we get older. And small nutritional advantages can add up over the years. The good news is that vitamin C is found in many foods that are easy to enjoy. Oranges, strawberries, kiwi, bell peppers, broccoli, and many other colorful fruits and vegetables. Simple foods that can become part of a healthy routine. But while some seniors focus on what helps the body heal, many overlook a mistake they're making every single day. A mistake that could be contributing to cold feet and circulation concerns without them even realizing it. And that's where vitamin B3 comes in. Number 4. Vitamin B3. Vitamin B3, also known as niacin, has been associated with circulation for decades. Yet one of the biggest mistakes many older adults make is assuming that cold feet are simply something they have to live with. So they adapt. They buy thicker socks. They wear slippers around the house. They keep a blanket nearby whenever they sit down. And eventually it becomes part of their routine. In fact, some seniors reach for an extra pair of socks even when everyone else in the room feels perfectly comfortable. Sound familiar? The problem isn't the socks themselves. The problem is that many people stop asking why their feet feel cold in the first place. Instead of viewing it as a signal, they accept it as a normal part of aging. And while getting older certainly changes the body, it's important not to ignore what your body may be trying to tell you. Think about it. If your car's dashboard warning light suddenly appeared, you probably wouldn't cover it with tape and pretend it wasn't there. You'd want to know what's causing it. Your body deserves the same attention. Cold feet can result from many different factors: temperature, activity levels, medical conditions, even certain medications. But circulation often becomes part of the discussion. Because when blood isn't reaching the feet as efficiently as it once did, those changes can sometimes show up as persistent coldness. That's one reason vitamin B3 has attracted attention over the years. In fact, niacin is perhaps best known for something called the niacin flush. Some people experience temporary warmth in the skin after taking higher amounts of it. Their face may feel warm. Their skin may appear slightly red. And they become very aware of the sensation. Now, that doesn't mean everyone should start taking large doses of niacin. Far from it. But it highlights the fact that vitamin B3 has long been connected to discussions about circulation and vascular health. Imagine two neighbors in their 70s. One spends winter evenings comfortably reading a book. The other is constantly adjusting blankets, rubbing his feet together, and trying to stay warm. Neither person may think much about it. Yet these small, everyday experiences often shape quality of life more than we realize. Because comfort matters, mobility matters, and maintaining healthy circulation becomes increasingly important with age. Fortunately, vitamin B3 can be found in foods such as chicken, turkey, tuna, salmon, peanuts, brown rice, and whole grains. Foods that are already part of many American diets. But here's something surprising. Even seniors who eat reasonably well may still be missing out on a nutrient that's often called the sunshine vitamin. And the reason has nothing to do with where they live. It has to do with how they live. And that's where vitamin D comes in. Number 3. Vitamin D. Vitamin D is often called the sunshine vitamin. And here's the surprising part. Millions of older adults living in some of the sunniest parts of America still don't get enough of it. First, that sounds impossible. How can someone live in Florida, Arizona, Texas, or California and still have low vitamin D levels? The answer has less to do with where people live, and more to do with how they spend their time. Think about retirement for a moment. For many people, retirement is supposed to be a reward, a chance to slow down, relax, spend more time at home, catch up on favorite television shows, read books, enjoy a comfortable routine. and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But over the years, something unexpected can happen. Without realizing it, many retirees begin spending far less time outdoors than they once did. The morning commute disappears. Walking between buildings disappears. Lunch breaks outside disappear. Even simple daily activities that once exposed people to sunlight become less common. Before they know it, entire days are spent indoors. And that's where vitamin D enters the story. As we age, our bodies become less efficient at producing vitamin D from sunlight. At the same time, we're often getting less sunlight than we did during our younger years. It's a combination that has caught the attention of researchers and healthcare professionals alike. What's especially interesting is that low vitamin D levels don't always announce themselves dramatically. There's no flashing warning sign, no obvious alarm bell. Instead, people often describe more subtle changes. They feel less energetic. Their legs seem weaker. They tire more quickly during everyday activities. The stamina they once took for granted isn't quite the same. Now, many factors can contribute to these experiences. Aging itself is complex. But vitamin D remains one of the most commonly discussed nutrients when it comes to maintaining muscle function, mobility, and overall physical performance in older adults. And that's important, because healthy circulation isn't just about blood vessels. Your muscles play a role too. Every time you walk, your leg muscles help move blood back toward the heart. In a sense, they act like a secondary pumping system. That's one reason maintaining strength and mobility becomes increasingly important after age 60. The good news is that vitamin D can come from several sources. Sunlight remains one of the most natural. Fatty fish such as salmon and mackerel can help. Fortified milk, fortified cereals, and certain dairy products may contribute as well. Yet despite these options, vitamin D deficiency remains surprisingly common among older adults. But now we're entering the top 2. And the next vitamin involves a warning sign that many seniors notice. Yet few people talk about openly. It often starts with the toes. A little tingling, a little numbness, and that's where vitamin B12 comes in. Number 2. Vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is one of the most important vitamins for healthy nerve function. And that's exactly why the warning signs of a deficiency often show up in the feet first. It usually doesn't start with pain. It starts with something much easier to ignore. A slight tingling sensation in the toes. A feeling that your foot has fallen asleep. A patch of numbness that comes and goes. Or a mild burning sensation that seems to appear for no obvious reason. At first, most people don't worry about it. The feeling disappears. The day continues. And life goes on. But here's what makes these symptoms so easy to overlook. They often develop gradually. Not over days. Not even over weeks. But over months or sometimes years. That's why many seniors don't recognize the change until it becomes difficult to ignore. Imagine getting out of bed one morning. You place your feet on the floor. Something feels slightly different. Not painful. Just unusual. Maybe your toes don't feel quite as responsive as they once did. Maybe there's a faint tingling sensation. Maybe there's a strange numbness that wasn't there before. Most people tell themselves they'll keep an eye on it. And then they move on. But when unusual sensations continue appearing in the feet, it's worth paying attention. Because your feet contain thousands of nerve endings. They're constantly sending information to your brain about balance, movement, pressure, and position. Every step depends on that communication system working properly. And vitamin B12 plays an important role in helping support it. Vitamin B12 also helps the body produce healthy red blood cells, which carry oxygen throughout the body. That's one reason healthcare professionals often pay close attention to B12 levels in older adults. What's particularly interesting is that vitamin B12 deficiency becomes more common with age. Not necessarily because people stop eating healthy foods, but because the body's ability to absorb B12 can gradually decline over time. In other words, even seniors who believe they're eating reasonably well may still struggle to get enough usable B12. The good news is that vitamin B12 can be found in foods such as fish, eggs, milk, yogurt, poultry, lean meats, and fortified foods. And for many older adults, Ensuring adequate B12 intake becomes increasingly important as the years go by. Now we've reached the number 1 vitamin on today's list. A vitamin that many seniors have never heard much about. Yet it's quietly become one of the most talked about nutrients among experts interested in healthy aging, healthy arteries, and long-term circulation. And that's exactly why vitamin K2 takes the top spot. Number 1. Vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 may be the most overlooked vitamin on today's list. In fact, if you ask most adults over 60 about vitamin C, they'll probably know exactly what it is. Ask about vitamin D and they'll likely know that too. Ask about vitamin B12, and many have at least heard it discussed by a doctor or pharmacist. But ask about vitamin K2, and you'll often get a puzzled look. That's surprising, because despite receiving far less attention than many other vitamins, vitamin K2 has become a growing topic of interest among researchers studying healthy aging. For years, most conversations about aging focused on one thing: calcium. Get enough calcium. Protect your bones. Keep your skeleton strong. And that's certainly important. But here's the part many people never hear. Getting calcium into your body is only half of the story. The other half is what your body does with it. Think of it this way. Imagine ordering thousands of dollars worth of building materials for your home. The truck arrives. The materials are delivered. But instead of unloading them at the construction site, they're dropped randomly throughout the neighborhood. The materials arrived, but they didn't end up where they were supposed to go. Many health experts use a similar analogy when discussing vitamin K2, because one of its most discussed roles involves helping the body manage calcium appropriately. And that's one reason it has attracted increasing attention in conversations about healthy aging and arterial health. Now, let's be clear. Vitamin K2 is not a miracle nutrient. It won't reverse decades of aging. It won't instantly solve circulation problems. No vitamin can do that. But healthy circulation depends on healthy arteries. And healthy arteries depend on many factors working together over a lifetime. Nutrition, physical activity, sleep, blood pressure, blood sugar, and overall vascular health. Vitamin K2 has become part of that conversation because of the role it may play in supporting those systems. What's especially interesting is that many seniors spend years focusing on nutrients they've heard about their entire lives, while never learning about vitamin K2 at all. Yet sometimes the most valuable pieces of information are the ones hiding in plain sight. The things that don't make headlines. The things that aren't heavily advertised. The things quietly working in the background. Vitamin K2 can be found in foods such as egg yolks, certain cheeses, and fermented foods. However, many modern diets contain relatively small amounts of these foods, which may help explain why interest in K2 continues to grow. And that's why vitamin K2 earns the number 1 position on today's list. Not because it's the most famous vitamin, not because it's a miracle cure, but because it may be one of the least understood nutrients involved in the larger conversation about healthy aging, healthy arteries, and healthy blood flow to the legs and feet. Conclusion. If there's one thing to remember from today's video, it's this: healthy circulation is rarely the result of a single nutrient. Instead, it's the result of many systems working together. Your heart, your blood vessels, your arteries, your muscles, your nerves, and the nutrients that help support them. Today, we explored 7 vitamins that may help support healthy blood flow and healthy aging after 60. From vitamin E and cold feet, to vitamin B1 and walking endurance, to vitamin C and the body's natural repair processes, to vitamin B3, vitamin D, vitamin B12, and finally vitamin K2. Each one plays a different role. Each one supports a different part of the puzzle. And together they highlight something important. Small nutritional choices can have a meaningful impact over time. Because for most seniors, the goal isn't simply living longer. It's living better. It's being able to walk through the grocery store comfortably, take a morning walk, travel with family, spend time with grandchildren, and continue enjoying the independence that makes life fulfilling. The good news is that healthy aging doesn't depend on perfection. It depends on consistency, small habits, repeated over time, better nutrition, regular movement, adequate sleep, and giving your body the support it needs. Now we'd love to hear from you. Which symptom do you notice most often? Cold feet? Heavy legs? Nighttime cramps? Tingling toes? Or something else? Share your experience in the comments below. And if you found today's video helpful, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications for more healthy aging tips every week. Thank you for watching. Take care of yourself. Keep moving. Stay active. And remember, every step you protect today helps support your independence tomorrow. We'll see you in the next video.